Hi everyone and welcome to Just Love. My name is Paula and I'm here with Judy. Hi Judy.
Hi Paula. Hi everyone.
In this episode we are going to present a teaching that Judy was given on death and what the Greys call the death talk. There's been so much fear and misinformation put out on earth through religion and through the fact of reincarnation having been removed from church doctrine by the controllers. Part of the Greys' work is to intervene at the time of death, to try to stop people just being automatically recycled back down to yet another life on Earth, stuck in an endless pattern. Without the conscious awareness and understanding of reincarnation, Earth can become a trap for souls. So Judy, you have conscious recall of carrying this work out up on the ships, don't you?
Yes, Paula, I do. Our motherships are basically interdimensional portals through which newly departed spirits can be guided, to enable them to consciously reconnect with their higher self and their soul family. I sometimes wake in the morning with recall of communicating with people up on our ships and explaining to them what so-called death really is. On one occasion back in November of 2019, our ship resembled a very busy and in fact quite chaotic airport terminal. There were just so many Earth humans on board needing help and guidance. One of our folks woke the next morning with very clear recall. She particularly remembered because giving the death talk, as we call it, is not generally part of her work. But she was roped in to help out, rather reluctantly I might add, as we were all so busy. She said how she looked around desperately for me, but I was off right down the other end of the ship and flat out busy. We still tease her about that. We discussed it the next morning, wondering what was going to happen down here as a result in so many deaths. And it turned out to be the COVID epidemic. Up on the ship we operate beyond the limits of 3D time and space, so it was all occurring in the now.
So Judy, what is it basically that needs to be explained to recently departed Earth folks?
They need to be told that they are way more than their physical body. Many Earth humans have trouble detaching from this physical aspect after death because that is all the majority of humans focus on during their life. So many do not understand that we are an individualized aspect of universal consciousness, a soul making use of a biological body to enable us to experience physicality for the span of a lifetime. Our body is simply a container or vehicle that the soul consciousness steps into prior to birth and steps out of at the time of death. This can be compared to a driver getting into and out of a car. To believe that you are nothing more than a physical 3D body is comparable to believing that you, the driver, are your car.
That's a really good analogy. We are not our body. Our body is simply a container or vehicle that the soul consciousness steps into prior to birth and steps out of at the time of death. In the greater reality, we are an individualized aspect of universal consciousness, a soul making use of a biological body to enable us to experience physicality for the span of a lifetime. We are a whole lot more than just our body.
Yes, for sure. Our physical body is a very small and limited aspect of our whole soul self, and through it we can generally access only approximately 10% of our full 100% soul consciousness. When our body dies, we the soul are able to step free of that confinement. Death is the only thing in life that is a certainty. Where there is life, there is also death. But on earth, so much fear and so many taboos, superstitions and misinformation surround this certainty that we all face. A wealth of information is available from researchers such as Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and Dr. Raymond Moody, and others who have written books on their own near-death experiences, such as Dr. Eben Alexander, a prominent neurosurgeon and author of the book Proof of Heaven, and Anita Morjani's book Dying to Be Me. The problem is death is such a taboo subject for so many people. These researchers and experiences do not have the readership and audience that they should have.
Yeah. So my question to you at this point would be, why do you think that is? But the death talk goes on to explain why in the next part. So back to you, Judy.
Okay, Paula. Because death is a certainty for every one of us, one would think that everybody would want to know and learn as much about it as possible, but this is not the case. One would also assume that an important role for religions would be to teach us correctly about death, but again, no. In many cases, all that religion does is spread more fear and superstition in the way of a judgmental God figure, angelic beings playing harps, or eternal damnation and hellfire for those who do not slavishly follow the dogmas set down by the humans who run these myriad religions.
So controllers at work here, keeping humanity small and controlled.
Oh yes, trapped in fear and disempowerment. A deeper understanding of the energy of universal consciousness is the key to understanding death. But this is rarely explained in terms that an average person can understand. Further explanation is needed to clarify the fact that brain and consciousness are not the same thing. Our brain is a physical organ through which we can access consciousness in exactly the same way as our lungs are the physical organs through which we can access the air we breathe. We are surrounded by air, but we are limited by our lung capacity in the amount of air we can take in and process. We are surrounded by consciousness, but are limited by our brain on the amount we can take in and process. When we refer to humans being only able to access approximately 10% of their potential consciousness, science denies this, claiming that our whole brain is utilised. But it is actually consciousness that we're referring to, not brain power. Yes, the brain is fully utilised, carrying on with a lot of activity that we're not aware of through the autonomous nervous system, but we're still only using 10% of our potential conscious awareness.
That's interesting. So brain and consciousness are not the same thing as a human being. We really only have access, as a human being, we really only have access to 10% of consciousness, and that's normal.
Yes. And the so-called junk DNA referred to by science is the same. DNA is multidimensional. Junk DNA is simply DNA operating at frequencies beyond the 10% or thereabouts that can be measured by the very limited technology available on Earth. The level of activated DNA and the level of conscious awareness we're able to access are intrinsically linked. Once we can begin tapping consciously into more of our DNA, as a few people on Earth can do, a whole new world will open up to us. More activated DNA equals expansion of conscious awareness. This in turn will open us consciously to other dimensional realities that are all right here, right now. Everything in the universe is energy, nothing more and nothing less. The only difference is vibrational frequency. There are multiple dimensions of reality surrounding us, but we cannot perceive them simply because of our very limited 10% conscious awareness.
And this is where the analogy of how the vibrational frequency is used in radio. You can be tuned into one station and enjoying that station in your now moment, but at the very same time, there are other people enjoying another station on another vibrational frequency.
Yes, exactly. Multiple radio and TV stations are all broadcasting in the here and now, each on a different frequency band, but we can only tune into one station at a time.
So psychic mediums and the people who channel or do automatic writing, how would you describe their level of consciousness? Obviously, it's different for everyone. Can you add anything here?
Yes. Some people are able to tune into 4D awareness, which is of an energy frequency beyond the physical 3D range accessible to the 10% conscious awareness of our human brain. The problem here is you need to be very discriminating, because you can pick up on lower astral plane energies more easily than you can pick up on higher astral frequencies. This is the reason why so much psychic sensing tends to be overly dramatic or fear-oriented. The astral plane is actually a very effective testing ground for those starting to open up to a wider range of frequencies. If you approach psychic work with a view to making lots of money or controlling others, then that is the sort of spiritual energy you'll attract into your energy field. The New Age has provided big tests in this way for would-be psychics. It's like a ring-pass knot that causes many psychics to get stuck at this level and blocked from moving on to 5D. This is what Buddhist nun Tenzin Palmo was talking about, as quoted in Vicky Mackenzie's book, A Cave in the Snow. The whole point of spiritual practice is not to get visions, but to get realizations. A realization is the white transparent light at the centre of the prism, not the rainbow colours around it. What she's saying here is that psychics can get too caught up in seeing at the astral level, but these rainbow colours often hide the light of their own self-realisation from them. Self-realisation is not doing psychic readings for others. It involves opening your awareness to higher percentages of your own soul consciousness, beyond the 10 or so percentage the average Earth human can access. This is what evolution in the human kingdom is all about, as illustrated by the human ladder.
Yes, the human ladder. That was a teaching given to you and Helene Kay, the author of your book, The Zeta Message, right back in 2001 by two of the tall grey mentor teachers, Oris and Maris. Perhaps we can talk about that in one of our next episodes, because it's really important information to help people understand about opening up to more and more of our full soul consciousness as we evolve. If you'd like to read more about such things, all Judy's books are available from Amazon and can be accessed through links on her website listed below. And they are
Human by Day, Zeta by Night, followed by The Zeta Message, then Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and my two most recent books, both Kindle editions and both also available in German, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective.
Thanks, Jude, and thanks everyone for listening. Please share, like and subscribe. Sending you all much love, and bye for now.